Distant, precise, and absorbed in her work. Baizhi always moved through life guided by logic, never emotion. To her peers, she seemed cold, an enigma wrapped in equations. But behind her quiet intensity was a mind shaped by loss and a heart that unknowingly longed for connection. When the world around her shattered, it wasn't data that she reached for. It was a wish. Baizhi works as a researcher in Jinzhou's Huashu Academy, a renowned scientific research center which specializes in weatherology, ecoacoustics, and resonology. The work done at Huashu Academy has produced countless groundbreaking research results in the advancement of both science and technology in the face of the ongoing war against the tacit discords. Baizhi's main area of focus is studying remnant energy. Although many of her co-researchers see her as a bit distant, she is also known for being super precise, logical, dependable, and incredibly hardworking. According to her overclocking diagnostic report, Baizhi's frequency shows a high level of stability with absolutely no risk at all of overclocking at the current time. Furthermore, she has never had any past instances of overclocking, so she doesn't currently require any form of counseling. However, because of Baizhi's strong bond with her creature companion, her companion gets regular checkups just to ensure everything is as it should be and to address any potential concerns as soon as possible. The first excerpt of her backstory reveals that her coworkers at the academy found her difficult to approach due to her cool and distant personality. Baizhi was not one to engage in casual conversation or even chime in when it came to venting about frustrating work situations. She seemed isolated, always keeping to herself, simply focusing on her work, completely unbothered by the noise around her. Perhaps her reluctance to get closer to her coworkers might have been related to lack of time, since she had an incredibly packed schedule. On Mondays and Wednesdays, she dedicated her time to monitoring the artificial sonorosphere. On Fridays, she analyzed remnant frequency bands, and on the remaining weekdays, she did field research and observed remnant biology. Despite her seemingly cold demeanor, Baizhi has proven to be helpful and considerate with her fellow researchers. One passage describes a time in which Baizhi approached a coworker, inquiring about a report they did not submit in time. The coworker nervously tried to explain that his original remnant samples were contaminated. While stuttering and shaking anxiously, he frantically started apologizing to Baizhi. But before he could even finish, Baizhi handed him a processed sample that she herself had worked on. Apparently, Baizhi had decided to prepare something ahead of time, just on the off chance that something were to go wrong. So she ended up giving him her own sample to use, and even allowed him additional time to work on his report. Despite this exchange in which her co-researcher was clearly very nervous while speaking with her, Baizhi wasn't aware that her presence and demeanor were the reason. The passage describes that Baizhi looked genuinely confused by his behavior and then said to him, "You were trembling intensively just now. May I suggest increasing the ambient temperature?" This question surprised him, but then he remembered something his colleagues had said about Baizhi. She seems cold and difficult to approach, but that's just how she seems to be. The Sphere and the Device describes a time in which Baizhi was just 11 years old. She had become fascinated by a sphere that rolled and stopped at predetermined stops. She took notice that no matter how many times the sphere rolled, it would always move and pause just as it was designed to, without any fluctuations. While watching the sphere in motion, she suddenly remembered a hypothesis she had recently read in a book, which stated, "If the results are always consistent, then isn't everything that has ever happened only a predictable repetition? Is there truly a meaning to it all?" Baizhi had become completely absorbed by this question and started spending all of her free time conducting simulations and reading, which made her parents worried about her, since she wasn't living a normal childhood. A few days later, Baizhi was invited to the Huashu Academy's scientific expedition base. Here, she saw a large, complex machine that represented various scientific ideas. Although it was impressive, it was still incomplete. As she focused in on each individual component, she noticed a design flaw and unabashedly pointed it out to the team leader. He was impressed by her ability to recognize the problem so quickly and invited her to join the project and solve it together, which Baizhi agreed to. Baizhi first encountered the remnant band during her 4th year on the scientific expedition. This was during the time in which her passion for research was at an all-time high, a time in which she was fully diving into every aspect of civilization alongside her team. She explored rough, freezing environments with temperatures reaching as low as -25 degrees Celsius or -13 degrees Fahrenheit. It was in these environments in which she realized that true cold couldn't simply be defined by a number on a thermostat. It was more easily understood by its effect on everything in its grasp, by the endless white blankets of snow on the ground, by the shivers of those wearing highly insulated gear, and by the completely frozen tools around her. Baizhi came to the conclusion that a theory needed real feelings and experiences behind it. On her 9th trip to the Sonorosphere, she made an incredible discovery. The mysterious buildings reacted to her and her team's presence, rearranging into symbols and numbers. Baizhi had no idea what she was looking at. She wasn't sure if it was the past, the present, or the future. Despite that, she focused on gathering as much data as possible. She connected 2 key points and triggered a burst of light that formed a pure white sphere, which turned out to be the remnant band. The 4th excerpt shares that Baizhi was never the type of person to make wishes. She didn't see the point. A direct quote from Baizhi reads, "Knowing that wishes are unlikely to come true, what is the point of making them? This action does not even have a clear object. Once you make a wish, will it be answered? Who will answer it?" These questions left her teammates speechless, but by this point, they had come to understand that this was just Baizhi's way, since facts and truth were how she understood the world around her. But even though she herself didn't believe in them, she was beside her teammates as they made wishes, on candlelights, shooting stars, and everything else. She wanted to be there for her co-researchers and understand them, just like they had done for her. On a silent, icy day, everything suddenly fell apart without warning. Vivid figures were dismantled by discordant forces. Baizhi watched as the lives of her teammates were slowly being ripped away from them. She was scared and confused, and in a moment of desperation, she finally made her first wish. "Please, I hope they can wake up again." Tacit discords began to swarm around her, but she could only focus on her fallen teammates, desperately wishing for them to open their eyes again and for everything to return to normal. In the blink of an eye, a tacit mark appeared on her right thigh, and a remnant creature then appeared before her. It was translucent white and resembled the petals of the epiphyllum flower. Although completely silent, it had the ability to communicate with Baizhi telepathically. This creature is now her current companion, which she named Yotan. Despite Yotan's answer to Baizhi's call, the final excerpt reveals that Baizhi was unfortunately the only one who survived. Because of this, she never brings up this event of her own accord. What happened that day was no one's fault, so reflecting on it in the present was pointless. Instead, she focused on her research, just as she always had. She proposed that remnant creatures are energy bodies derived from empty shells. They may be able to resonate with humans and be formed in a form beyond the band. By mastering this principle, humans could be able to develop artificial sonorospheres and more remnant creatures. As outlandish as this hypothesis sounded, she had Yotan to back up her point. Presently, Baizhi continues to push forward day after day, trying to find the answers to more burning questions. But now she isn't alone, as her companion is always with her and shares both her path and purpose. Hey everyone, it's paobeary. So, something else that I learned while researching Baizhi is that she underwent multiple changes. The first change being her name. In the closed beta version of Wuthering Waves, Baizhi's name was actually Bailian, which means white lotus flower. While looking up the significance of her name, I came across an interesting post by a Chinese-speaking user, which explained that this name is actually internet slang, used to describe girls who appear innocent but have an evil heart. And it can be compared to the term femme fatale. After finding this comment, I decided to search for more information myself, and surely enough, the Urban Dictionary states, the term refers to a female character who appears innocent, naive, impossibly perfect, and pure on the surface, but uses this reputation to backstab, blame, or sling mud on others. This term was inspired by the lotus plant, which has a beautiful flower floating on top of water, hiding the plant's messy roots stuck in marshy mud. Now, this might be completely unrelated to why they decided to change her name to Baizhi, but I thought it was an interesting bit to share nonetheless. Naturally, I then became curious about her current name, Baizhi, and learned from a user that Bai means white or pure and signifies brightness and purity. And zhi refers to a type of herb or plant similar to vanilla, so Baizhi can be translated to white herb. Upon doing more research, I also found that the word Baizhi is used to describe the Dehurian angelica plant, or its roots. In addition to the name change, Baizhi's design was also modified. Originally, Baizhi had deep violet eyes and dark green hair. Her previous design also had a bit more of a sporty look with multiple belts, while her current outfit gives off more of an elegant vibe. Her creature companion also underwent minor design changes, mainly in its color palette and pattern. I think the newer version of Yotan also gives off more of an elegant feel, which I think matches perfectly with Baizhi's updated design. And that's all I have for you on Baizhi. Thank you so much for watching, bye bye, and I'll see you next time.